Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 26th August 2026. Today we're diving into some pivotal developments from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. Our top story today. Joe Security has documented an AI-assisted control workflow inside the Toxnet v2 Linux botnet. Its August 25th analysis says Toxnet v2 can send controller and host telemetry to a language model hosted through NVIDIA NIM, then convert selected model responses into structured proposed actions. Importantly, this is not evidence of fully autonomous malware. Higher impact actions remain pending until an authenticated operator approves them. But once approved, recommendations can reach existing Toxnet v2 functions for local shell commands, file changes, remote SSH operations, persistent state, and a fixed compilation workflow. That puts model output close to consequential execution paths even while a human remains in the loop. Joe Security does not establish that the model independently rewrites, deploys, or propagates the malware, and the available reporting does not show this architecture is widespread across botnets. GB Hackers independently reported the analysis and likewise described the workflow as operator-gated. For security teams, the practical point is that AI-enabled threat modeling cannot focus only on autonomous agents. An attacker can use a language model as a decision support layer between compromised system telemetry and already powerful execution capabilities, with human approval serving as the final control boundary. From an operator approving machine actions to regulators scrutinizing decisions without human intervention, Uber faces a major European privacy penalty. The Dutch Data Protection Authority imposed a fine of €824.99 million over automated decisions that temporarily or permanently disconnected drivers from Uber. France's CNIL, which cooperated on the case, said the Dutch authority treated deactivations tied to suspected fraud and low customer ratings as automated individual decisions because there was no human intervention. The consequences could be substantial. Affected drivers could lose their ability to complete rides and earn income. The case followed a collective complaint filed in 2020 on behalf of more than 170 Uber drivers. The Associated Press reported that the authority cited general data protection regulation violations spanning 2018 through 2022. Uber disputes the decision and says it will appeal, arguing that the ruling examined historic policies that have since been discontinued. Uber says its current system includes human review, safeguards, and an appeal route. The broader engineering lesson is about governance, rather than banning automated fraud controls. For systems capable of producing adverse decisions, regulators are focusing on whether human review is meaningful, whether users can appeal, and whether a reviewer can actually change the outcome. From automated platform decisions to autonomous vehicles, Waymo is preparing to bring its robotaxi technology to Munich. Waymo announced on August 25th that it is targeting a public ride-hailing launch toward the end of 2027. But the distinction between preparation and deployment is important. Public driverless rides are not available in Munich today. Waymo says its vehicles will first drive manually across the city in the coming weeks to build high-definition maps. The next phase will test the Waymo driver with trained autonomous specialists behind the wheel, allowing the system to validate its behavior against Munich's local road conditions. Commercial service remains contingent on regulatory approval. Waymo says it is engaging local, state, and federal officials, while TechCrunch reported that the company did not yet hold a German permit at the time of the announcement. Waymo has also not provided a future service area, fleet size, pricing, or a date for the first public ride. For autonomy teams, Munich offers a concrete deployment sequence to watch: mapping, supervised validation, permits, and only then commercial operation. The most meaningful milestones from here will be evidence that testing is underway, regulatory decisions, and a defined operating area. Until those arrive, late 2027 remains Waymo's target rather than a guaranteed launch date. From moving vehicles to powering models, the financial scale of AI infrastructure is becoming a story of its own. Morgan Stanley reported on August 25th that Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Oracle, Nvidia, and Broadcom had provided more than $3.1 trillion in support mechanisms for AI infrastructure. The retrieved reporting characterizes these mechanisms as guarantees and leases, rather than a single $3.1 trillion cash spending program. Guru Focus reported that Alphabet accounted for $890 billion of the total, although the available reports do not provide a complete company-by-company breakdown or Morgan Stanley's full calculation methodology. One concrete example comes from Reuters. Nvidia agreed to guarantee up to $105 billion, supporting OpenAI's 20-year lease for an Ohio data center. Reuters also reported Nvidia helped arrange financing this month from 6 major United States financial institutions for customers building AI infrastructure. This matters because financing is increasingly part of the compute stack. Long leases and guarantees can unlock facilities and construction, but they are not the same as immediately available accelerator capacity. For machine learning infrastructure planners, usable compute still depends on power delivery, completed data centers, deployed hardware, networking, and contractual access. The headline capital commitment is enormous, but execution ultimately gets measured in energized operational compute. Back on the security front, AI voice is being folded into credential theft. SoakRadar says Anonymous Kit is a phishing-as-a-service ecosystem targeting owners of stolen Apple devices through email, SMS, WhatsApp, and AI-driven calls. Researchers linked the shared codebase to 506 domains and 168 storefront brands. The goal is to capture device passcodes, Apple account credentials, and two-factor authentication codes, including through a voice persona, presenting itself as Apple support. Turning from compute security to its electricity demands, Emerald AI has raised a $150 million Series A at a $1.05 billion valuation. Energize Capital and DCVC co-led the round, with investors including Nvidia, Samsung Ventures, and GE Vernova. Emerald's product, Emerald Conductor, coordinates AI workloads with on-site batteries and generation, so data centers can adjust grid power draw during periods of stress. From infrastructure orchestration to regulated workflows, Google Cloud has launched Gemini Enterprise for financial services in preview. The offering includes a managed financial research agent, more than 50 financial workflow skills, model context protocol connectors, and enterprise governance controls. Deutsche Bank served as a design partner and says it will use the financial research agent across its corporate bank. CME Group is also identified as an early user. Google Cloud says the connectors preserve existing data entitlements inside customer environments. That focus on agent access controls leads directly to NVIDIA NemoClaw. Cyera disclosed CVE 2026-65105, describing a configuration where a local unauthenticated Ollama service can become reachable from a malicious website through DNS rebinding. Researchers demonstrated actions including changing an Ollama model template, potentially poisoning future agent instructions. Cyera reported the issue to NVIDIA before publication, and the disclosure describes a proof of concept, not confirmed exploitation in the wild. From NVIDIA software security to NVIDIA hardware at data center scale, AM Intelligence has placed a binding order tied to its Hyderabad AI factory. Economic Times identifies the order as 9,000 NVIDIA Vera Rubin NVL72 rack-scale systems, scheduled for the first quarter of 2027 and intended for an initial 30-megawatt phase. AMI has outlined more than $8 billion in capital expenditure for an initial 200 megawatts of compute capacity, although public reports do not provide the order's price. And finally, SpaceX is looking beyond terrestrial data centers. Elon Musk says the company is targeting the fourth quarter of 2027 for initial AI compute satellite launches, with significant scale projected for 2028. Engadget reports that the Starmind AI-1 satellites are intended to use NVIDIA Rubin graphics processors and Vera Central processors, with AI outputs traveling through laser links connected to Starlink. The timeline remains a target, with no operational orbital compute performance data established in the reporting. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.